I swear on my life, that title isn't a joke. I'm not being paid, I'm not drunk, I'm not even being held hostage. This is just, my opinion.
Courageous. So courageous.
Now yes, this is going to be another one of those videos where I'm explaining why a game is good and why you should be playing it. But unlike my Titanfall 2 video for instance, where I effectively game shamed you for simply not playing it, which I don't regret, like seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'd rather just put on an act and make it come across like a man who is just trying to give you something to look forward to. So here is Rocket League. Before I express my love for this game, I will do a short little bit for those who haven't played this game yet to give them a better understanding of what I'm going to talk about. So if you don't want to hear all this filthy beginner talk, then here's a timestamp to when I get to some serious talk. Rocket League. Since September of this year, it has been a free-to-play game, there's no cost to entry, and 0 sacrifices to be made. That was easy enough. The premise of Rocket League is pretty self-explanatory. My gut says C. Final answer. Matches last 5 minutes. If it happens to be a draw by the end, the game goes into this golden goal phase where it goes on forever and a day until somebody slips up and concedes a goal. You worthless piece of shit. If the simplicity of the formula looks quite shallow on the surface, what becomes possible in a simple match is totally up to you. Endless creativity. Now granted, if you are new to the game, it's worth noting that these things will not come up overnight, and I can understand that watching really good players wreak havoc can be really intimidating. Just know, the game will try its best to place you against other players that are around the same skill level as yourself. I encourage you to not feel pressure, because the more you expose yourself to the game, you will constantly be noticing improvements to your gameplay, being able to perform certain movesets you couldn't do before. Rocket League also has an in-game chat system, preset quick chats that can be exchanged by a simple button press that you can customize to your own liking, that will give the ability to offer forms of communication with your quiet teammates without taking you out of the plays. But just know, if you have ever played one game of Rocket League in your entire life, you'll know that that system is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Here he is, the biggest douche of the universe. In all the galaxies, there's no
They've literally made it a challenge for you to be toxic. A variety of different modes are present. You have your standard modes that range between 1v1 all the way to 4v4. Both have social and ranked servers depending on your intentions. You've also got a selection of spin-off modes like Snow Day, Drop Shot, Rumble, Hoops. You can customize your car from front to rear. I guess that would be the saying. Pretty much anything imaginable can be customized to your own liking and freedom of expression. Represent yourself wisely. Do you want to be super flashy, traditional, an outcast? Or maybe even a little bit patriotic.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
If possible, do your best to grab a buddy to play with, because any Rocket League player will tell you, when you put your trust into random teammates, you are well and truly on the way to the top of the mountains, with the promised land most definitely in sight.
Oh, don't foul!
The only thing that is really missing is a little bit more energy from the crowd. Being a European football match, we need some banter thrown back and forth at the opposition, giving us that edge of momentum, just like in one of them derby games. Now let's get to the serious talk and justify the title of this video. Now I've been playing Rocket League for over 4 years now. It was day one on its Xbox release in February 2016, and despite plenty of new games throughout that time hitting the surface and going through many honeymoon phases, I've constantly made my way back to Rocket League. And I've never committed to a game like that for that long. I mean, I've been faithful to certain franchises for longer, but that replayability is reinforced because they release brand new games every few years. But I've never done it to the extent for a single game. Of course, from a personal perspective, there is a layer of encouragement by what my friends play, and given that some of my closest do play Rocket League, it does stimulate that urge to party up and get the most out of it. But every game is better with friends, so there still must be something about Rocket League that clicks more than others. I think the biggest one, Rocket League, even after years of playing it, it still finds ways to surprise you, despite the simple concept. No matter how good or bad you consider yourself, everybody establishes what their skill level is, but with a little bit of dedication, you will constantly perform mobility plays that felt beyond your capabilities. And even if you think you've hit a wall to what is possible in a Rocket League game, that's when you need to check out what the pro players are capable of.
4 seconds left! NRG need this immediately. They've got the kick off in their favour. Kato tries to clear. It is almost there. It just has to hit the floor. Violet Panda puts it a long way. And it's almost there. Justin keeps it alive. Turbo Apostle there. Bounces into the corner. NRG still around. Justin is there for the shot. Justin! This is Rocket League!
And it's one of those skill sets that is so satisfying to reach that you have great fear of losing it. Like, I remember many times when I would come back to Rocket League for the first time in a while because of a new game releasing, and immediately showing symptoms of rust, and I hated it. I was missing open goals, I was whiffing to the extent where dummies wasn't even a logical justification, and even today I still don't consider myself as good as I once was. I can't put my finger on exactly when I was at the top of my game, but I long for those days, and I want them back. Rocket League does have a particular charm to it. It's a game that is approachable for all moods, whether it's to be super competitive or just for lols. The extra modes are more of a goof around, or maybe you want to go into custom games and tweak the settings of the ball physics or the car speeds. And in terms of when things get sweaty, I can't think of a more balanced competitive experience. The arenas have the same layout on both sides, both teams spawn the same distance away from the ball at kickoff, and everyone knows that the boost pickups respawn every 10 seconds. And the rest of it is down to teamwork and or individual brilliance. And above all, you don't need to be a fan of cars or football for that matter to understand the appeal. I mean, you could call it soccer and you still wouldn't think any differently. Just don't bitch about the wages. In the time of reflection I've had since I started writing the script, well, first off, I realised I spent more time explaining what the game was rather than the deeper analysis, which I could rightfully get called out on. But anyways, Rocket League has every right in the book to me to stand next to the likes of other great games that have released over the last 10 years, like Witcher 3, Red Dead 2, The Last of Us. And it's funny because unlike those games, they had a massive build up to their launches with commercials and interviews with the developers. Rocket League just came out of the blue, and the rest is history. It's like an unwanted house guest who has now become part of the family. And I feel like I owe it to the game because would I have known, like back in February 2016, I spent, I think £18 on it, I think it was, and I'm still playing it to this day.